Welcome to Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium, where one of the top teams in America, the Oklahoma Sooners, hit the field, ranked 8th in the nation, as OU prepares to take on a tough Bill Snyder-led K-State squad. Hi everybody, I'm Gus Johnson along with my partner Joel Klatt, and welcome to Norman, Oklahoma. And it's very simple for the Sooners. If they hope to make it into the college football playoff, they cannot afford to lose another game. Right. And they've got some stars that are determined to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and for me, it comes down to three things about Oklahoma. The things that we know, the things that are now surprises, and then the big question mark. Let's start with the things that we know, and it's namely their passing game, led by Kyler Murray. This guy's sensational, and you know who he throws to. Number 5, Hollywood Brown. He is exceptional, and they're probably the most explosive tandem in all of college football. Kennedy Brooks, that's the surprise last week. 18 carries, 168 yards against TCU. He's going to be shouldering more of the run game as we move forward in the second half of the season. And then the question mark, the defense. It's been talked about and talked about and talked about. New defensive coordinator, Ruffin McNeil. This is the second game now under Ruffin McNeil. They want to simplify, they want to play fast, and they want to improve on that side of the ball, because one thing we know, if they can get any stops, that offense is awfully dangerous.
As for Kansas State under Bill Snyder, they always get better. Last time out, big win in the Little Apple against Oklahoma State. And one thing you know about Bill Snyder coach teams, they're going to shoot even par.
Oh, that's right.
They're not going to make mistakes.
That's absolutely true. And so you've got to go out there and you've got to beat them. And you've got to stop their run game. That's what they've been doing the last couple of weeks. And that starts with Alex Barnes. Alex Barnes has been terrific over his last two. 250 against Baylor, 181 against Oklahoma State, and 7 touchdowns. They want to hold the ball, keep Kyler Murray on the sidelines, and that starts with number 34.
Time now for Progressive Insurance Pre-Kick Flow, a series that dates back to 1908. OU leads. They've won 12 of the last 15 games, but the road team has prevailed in 6 of the last 7. Coming up, Oklahoma, Kansas State. We'll have the opening kick for you right after this on Fox. Fox College Football is sponsored by Volkswagen. Welcome to Norman. The Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium opened in 1923. Time now to join the third member of our team on the sideline, the All-American girl, Jenny Taft.
Well, guys, even though Oklahoma is heavily favored in this one, we got to keep in mind that K-State has won 2 of their last 3 on the road in Norman, and they're coming off a bye. So how'd they spend that extra time? According to Captain Dalton Reisner, he said they practice harder, they practice longer. He said, I'm finally seeing the edge that we need to play with that we missed at the beginning of the year. And as for Oklahoma, their quarterback Kyler Murray said we can't sleep on K-State. He said, I don't like to look back and look forward too often, but maybe that loss to Texas came at an okay time. If we win today, if we keep winning, we give ourselves the best shot at a playoff. That has been the goal for this team, and that remains the goal for this Oklahoma Sooners team.
All right, thank you very much, Jenny. Last year in Manhattan, Oklahoma escaped with a 42-35 win. And the weather here in Norman just absolutely perfect. 77 degrees, no humidity, the sun is out, and we're ready for Big 12 football on Fox. K-State won the toss, deferred Oklahoma to receive. Nick McClellan will kick it away. Marcellus Sutton, Trey Brown back deep. Wildcats and Sooners, and here we go. Here's Trey Brown from inside his own 5. Gets to the 20 with a lane. Still on his feet to the sideline and finally wrestled down at the 31-yard line, a 26-yard return, and here comes the little dynamo, Kyler Murray.
This guy is having a remarkable season, and he's gotten even better in his last 3 games. 77.5 completion percentage, 379 total yards per game, and 16 total touchdowns. His ability to hurt the defense with his legs as well as with the deep ball is unmatched right now in college football. I expect to see a shot early, and we'll see if he's got a healthy Hollywood Brown on the right side.
Last week against TCU, Murray 19 of 24, 213, 4 touchdowns, no picks. 1st and 10. And they'll run it on 1st down with Sermon who's been battling a leg injury suffered last week against the Horned Frogs, and he'll pick up 7 on first down. Denzel Goolsby, first man to him.
Late in that game in the fourth quarter, Trey Sermon took a shot low down to that knee area and had to gingerly walk off the field, but he's back. He's out here, and a nice 7-yard gain on first down.
Ran for 110 yards last week. Here's Murray looking all day to throw the football. Bounces out of the pocket, now back in the pocket, looking, fires over the middle, rather to the sideline, and it's incomplete. Calcaterra, the intended receiver. But this offensive line for Oklahoma may be the best in America.
It's awfully close, in particular with the way Wisconsin has struggled. I think a lot of people would have said Wisconsin coming into the season, but OU has been absolutely phenomenal, and they're playing their best football of late. Kyler Murray is going to get a lot of time, and part of that is also the fact that Kansas State does not like to pressure a lot. They love to play blanket coverage in the back end and send a lot of defensive backs out. So expect to see Kyler Murray bounce around in the pocket quite a bit today.
3rd down and 3 at the 38. Here's Murray looking for the first down, sideline. Oh, what a beautiful catch. C.D. Lamb over the shoulder. And that's a first down for the Sooners.
And that first down means tempo. This is when Oklahoma loves to go fast, and here we go.
Gain of 9 yards, 1st and 10 to the 47. Murray on the play fake. Steps up, delivers deep down the field, and incomplete. That one intended for A.D. Miller, and there's a flag.
Walter Neal, the nickelback, was in coverage, and A.D. Miller is going to beat him. You see he got turned right there.
By number 15 of the defense. It's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Absolutely, that right arm gets grabbed and turned down by Walter Neal. Excellent call by the officials, and OU is in business. This offense, boy, they don't need much help, do they? And when they get a penalty like that, it is almost like clockwork. They'll go down and score a touchdown. So K-State's defense right now up against it as OU moves into positive territory.
So that makes it 1st and 10 at the Kansas State 38. Opening series for the Sooners. Sermon, the pistol back with Murray. Here's Murray to toss it. He'll drop it off to the big fella. Sermon gets his shoulder square, cuts inside, and gets close to a first down. Looks like that leg is pretty good. Reggie Walker with the tackle, and some pushing and shoving going on.
Some extracurricular there, but I tell you what, this offensive line, they're so good in the run game. They're great in pass protection, but they're great on the edge as well. Bobby Evans might be the best one of the whole bunch, the left tackle. Watch him out in front of this, and a great block on the corner, and Sermon is allowed to then scoot back inside and gain about 4 or 5 extra yards.
A 9-yard pickup for Sermon on the screen. A 2nd and 1 at the 29. Great pace for Oklahoma to start this game offensively. Murray, Sermon looking for the first down. He has it. As he goes down to the 25, Daquan Patton with the tackle.
And now a flag is going to come out. Second straight play that we've had the jawing and pushing going on after the play. And the flag immediately came out on that far side. Bobby Evans, that left tackle I was just complimenting, he was right in there in the mix and kind of being walked away from the scrum by a teammate.
And I love what Lincoln Riley told us early in the season. We asked him how many of them are pros.
After the play, unnecessary roughness by number 71 of the offense. It's a 15-yard penalty, and it's 3rd down.
So that'll be on Evans. We asked Lincoln Riley how many of them are pros, and what was his answer, Joel?
All of them. But this is what you have to avoid. There's no reason for that. Absolutely no reason for that. He comes over, shoves Daquan Patton, and here's why. Daquan Patton, as he's getting up, watch as he's kind of jamming Trey Sermon's face mask into the ground like that, maybe jawing down there. And then as Sermon's trying to get him off him, Evans came over to help out. But what does it always come down to? Who's the second man? And Bobby Evans has got to be smarter than that. He could have gotten in there and intervened in that situation without drawing a penalty by just getting in there subtly and not with a big shove.
So they'll move it back 1st and 10 at the 40. Sermon. And he'll get close to the 35. Trey Deshawn with the tackle for K-State.
I love this. Watch how they're just reading. They're going to unblock, not block that defensive tackle. That's where Kyler Murray's reading. As soon as that tackle just stays put, he gives the ball to Sermon, who's able to get up and get positive yardage.
Murray again, he'll loft it, wide open receiver, and it's Calcaterra, touchdown OU, 35 yards. Grant Calcaterra had 3 catches at TCU last week. He's a Mackey Award candidate. His 13th reception of the season.
When you've got time in the pocket, what happens is that you can clear out the zone, that left side. Watch these 2 post routes. They clear out the safety. Then Calcaterra finds the opening, that soft spot, and Kyler Murray has all day to throw, drops it over the top for an easy touchdown.
Austin Seibert comes in to attempt the extra point. And it's good. Oklahoma dominant on their opening series. Going 7 plays, covering 69 yards. They score in 1:55. 7-0 Sooners. Fox College Football is sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve. And by AT&T, more for your thing, that's our thing. Aerial coverage is brought to you by our good neighbors at State's Farm on a spectacular day. Maybe the best day of the year here in Norman. 77 degrees at kickoff time. Oklahoma's Grant Calcaterra last season playing behind Mackey Award winner Mark Andrews. He turned in an all Big 12 honorable mention season, and he's having a good one this year as he scores on Oklahoma's opening series to give the Sooners a 7-0 lead.
Goes a little bit overlooked because of Marquise Brown and CeeDee Lamb and what they're doing, but clearly a weapon in the passing game.
Isaiah Zuber, the deep man, as Seibert sends it away. And as usual, Seibert kicks it out of the end zone. So that brings on Skylar Thompson, the sophomore. And he's got his work cut out for him today.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And they have got to hold the football and have long drives to keep Kyler Murray on the sideline. His last 2 games, he's been pretty good. 279 through the air, 130 on the ground with 2 total touchdowns. But it's really going to be about him getting them into the correct run play for Alex Barnes, number 34, their tailback.
First down at the 25 for K-State. Zuber in motion. Alex Barnes in the backfield. I don't know if they're going to get this one off. And they will not. Barnes running it. And the play will stand as Barnes is cut down by Curtis Bolton.
Yeah, and Barnes is our one to watch. Sponsored by Chick-fil-A. 1, earn points, redeem rewards. 138 rushes, 788 yards on the season. That leads the Big 12 right now. But most of those, in fact, 600 of those yards have been in the last 2 games. So getting hot at the right time.
Second down at 11 at the 24. And they'll throw it. Thompson pressured. Thompson, and he'll get back to the line of scrimmage as he runs into a player on the Oklahoma sideline.
And again, the chippiness over there between these 2 teams, this time right in the middle of that bench area.
Abdul Beecham, number 61, going over there to help his quarterback up.
Let's see what actually happened at the end of this play. Oh, there you go. There was a little bit of a shoulder on the sideline. That's Dylan Famatao. He's 6'3", 319 pounds, number 91. I don't think that was malicious. He just kind of turns and didn't catch him and get out of the way. And Thompson went straight down, and everyone got in a tussle.
Third down to 9 at the 26 for K-State. Thompson steps up in the pocket. Thompson with running room. Oh, and he is tracked down from behind by Kenneth Murray. Short of the first down. And Thompson gets up slowly.
It's always dangerous when you get those tackles from behind. This was not a horse collar. Murray did a great job of catching up. Murray's going to be on the blitz, and then he's going to turn it. He's going to actually escape back down, and he's going to chase down Thompson down the field. And watch how he doesn't grab the horse collar, but he gets him down to the ground. before the first down. And how about that? The OU defense celebrating some success, and as they should. They need confidence under this new defensive coordinator, Ruffin McNeil.
McNeil, second game in charge, replacing Mike Stoops as the defensive coordinator. Devin Ankton will kick it away. C.D. Lamb is the deep man. Lamb from the 15. Bottled up. And finally goes out of bounds as he crosses the 25. A 52-yard punt, a 12-yard return. Blaze Gammon there to knock him out of play. So coming up, Kyler Murray and the Oklahoma offense back on the field right after this. Time now for home field advantage delivered by Pizza Hut, official pizza of college football. No one out pizzas the Hut. Home field advantage for OU. Check out this record.
I mean, come on. This is just ridiculous. Since '99, when Bob Stoops got here, 110-10 at home. By the way, they have 11 Big 12 championships. That's insane. It's insane. Their success here.
Had a chance to visit with Coach Stoops. He came into the booth and talked to us for a couple of minutes. Just a pleasure to be around him. 1st and 10 at the 26. Murray drops it off. Lee Morris, his high school teammate, who's having a great year after being put on scholarship with the catch, a gain of 6 yards.
Yeah, and one thing that's going on right now, they're doing this without Hollywood Brown. He got banged up last week with a rolled up on his ankle. He played the rest of the game, but hasn't been on the field yet today. Not in the first series. They were trying to give him a go here, but the warm-up was not going well, what I saw, so they're giving him a rest.
2nd down and 4. Murray throws it out wide, and a halfback pass, wide open receiver. Oh my goodness, dropped by Charleston Rambo as Nick Basquin threw an excellent pass right on his fingertips.
This design was incredible because it's a swing route that you don't normally throw behind or backward, but he throws it backward. Kyler Murray to Basquin, who drops a perfect ball down the field to Charleston Rambo, and the redshirt freshman from Cedar Hill, Texas, just cannot hold on. And Nick Basquin was thinking to himself, man, I'm never going to get a shot to throw a touchdown, except for right there. You got to hold on. I feel your pain, Nick.
3rd down and 4 at the 32. Murray. Over the middle, 1st down, Oklahoma. That time it was Marquise Brown.
Yeah, first snap.
Hollywood with an 11-yard gain.
So they do get him on the field here. I don't anticipate he's going to play a ton with that ankle. It's his left ankle. It's heavily bandaged today. He was limping through some of the warm-ups. And if he can give it a go, he's going to provide them with such a threat because the safeties have to respect his speed. One of the fastest wide receivers in college football.
1st and 10 at the 43. Sermon cuts it inside. Nice move. 1st down. He's got a blocker down the sideline. Knocked down at the 30-yard line by Denzel Goolsby after a 22-yard pickup.
Just a sensational cut here as Eli Walker, the safety number 7, is going to come up, and he actually does a great job. He's in perfect position, then boom, Trey Sermon cuts back inside, finds another block down the field, and Ford's leading the way.
Oklahoma quickly to the line of scrimmage. Murray surveying sideline, thrown high and caught by C.D. Lamb. Another 1st down, this time in front of Kevion McGee.
You know, we don't talk enough about C.D. Lamb, but this guy is a sensational player. Just a sophomore. He's 6'2", 189 pounds, and he's great up in the air. We see him constantly every single week make great catches, one-handed, up high, going to get those passes that Murray puts above his head. He's just a tremendous asset on the outside.
He's got a great catch radius, right, Joel?
That's, see, now you're listening.
I'm listening to you,
I
bud.
love this. Look at this.
First,
you're learning.
Don't tell anybody. Sermon, option. Murray fumbles it and has to cover it up.
Another one of these super creative plays from Lincoln Riley where you hand off to Trey Sermon and then you run the option with Murray on the outside. And you know, sometimes they look a little better on Tuesday night than they do on Saturday. It's just hard because Sermon, you know, you got to assume that he's almost never done that. And that's just really tough to expect perfect execution from a guy that's never been asked to make an option pitch.
Well, it was not a Thomas Lott pitch, as Sermon this time runs it strong, and he'll get inside the Kansas State 15 for a 7-yard gain. Walter Neal Jr. with the tackle, but the Oklahoma running game, even though they lost Rodney Anderson, it seems like it's starting to ratchet up a bit.
Yeah, and you know, they've always been a team, at least since Lincoln Riley got here, that could run the football. One of, if not the best running team in the Big 12. They led the Big 12 a year ago. They're actually rushed for more yards per game this year. And to me, it's less about the backs and more about the offensive line. They've had the best offensive line in the league for the last 3 years.
3rd down and 7 at the 14-yard line for OU. Lamb, the motion man.
Lincoln called a timeout late there. He walked down and got the head linesman and called a timeout.
Oklahoma calls his first time out of the half.
And we'll step away. 7:45 to play in the first quarter. OU on top and threatening. Coming up next, it's Game 4 of the World Series. Manny Machado and the Dodgers look to tie the series as they energize the hometown crowd. But Mookie Betts and the Red Sox aim to quiet the LA faithful. Red Sox-Dodgers Game 4 next on Fox and the Fox Sports app. What a game last night.
Wow. Wasn't it? Now, do you think Joe Buck and John Smoltz just slept in the booth?
They might as well have.
Might slept there. You know, pull out the cots. How about Max Muncy? Unbelievable drama in that World Series. Can't wait for tonight.
3rd down and 7 to the 14 for Kyler Murray and the Sooners. On top, 7-zip. Murray bounces out of the pocket. Murray reverses his field and just gets rid of it. Good pressure by Kansas State. Good coverage by the Wildcats.
Great coverage. And when you look at this coverage, both to the quarterback's left and to the quarterback's right, you got to keep in mind Kansas State is doing this without their best corner, really their best player on defense. Duke Shelley is out today. He's got 3 interceptions on the year, 2 just last week against Oklahoma State, and they're doing this without him. So some great coverage. Murray nowhere to throw the football.
So Austin Seibert, one of 3 kickers in FBS, who is the team's primary punter, place kicker, and kickoff specialist. He's into a tipped 32-yarder. And it's good. So Oklahoma takes a 10-zip lead with 7:30 to play in the first quarter. Fox College Football presented by Volkswagen is sponsored by Go RVing. Find your way. Go RVing. And by SoFi, a personal finance company to fit your goals. 10-0 Oklahoma leading Kansas State here in the first quarter. Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt, Jenny Taft with you. And the Sooners rolling early. Let's see how Kansas State responds.
Got to sustain a drive here. Can't kick the ball right back to that offense. So a lot of pressure right now on this offense for Kansas State to try to stay on the field.
Seibert will kick it away. Isaiah Zuber, Dalvin Warmack are the deep men. And Seibert drills it again. Now, if you didn't stay up last night, like me, this is how the World Series ended.
Muncy flies one in the air to left center. Back at the wall, and it's gone! It's over! Muncy, a walk-off home run to win Game 3 in the 18th.
And over 7 hours they battled last night. Wow. Unbelievable finish as Barnes drives his way for a few. Curtis Bolton with the tackle. Alex Barnes, conference's leading rusher, is coming off the 2 best games of his career. He had 250 yards against Baylor on October 6th and 181 against Oklahoma State on October 13th.
This is an important set of downs here. They've got to move the chains and give their defense somewhat of a rest, or you're going to be looking at quite a deficit here real quick.
On 2nd down and 7, Barnes again, and he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. So as we mentioned, new defensive coordinator, Ruffin McNeil, well-traveled veteran coach. What are his principles and his philosophy as he takes over as the interim defensive coordinator?
Well, first of all, there's three things that he's got to do. He's got to simplify this for his guys. He's got to set an achievable standard, and then I think the last thing is he's got to build confidence in these guys because they need it on the defensive side. So simplify the scheme, set achievable expectations. You do that by just requiring effort, and then ultimately you got to build some confidence into these guys, and he's starting to do that. They're playing much better.
3rd down and 7 to the 28. Thompson, the throw, sideline, and a 1st down. Zuber with the catch. Isaiah Zuber from Stone Mountain, Georgia, with the reception. In last year's game, he had 7 catches, 1 for a touchdown against OU.
Yeah, that was a huge conversion just to stay on the field. Again, time of possession is always a key. You got to keep Kyler Murray on the sideline, and now they've got to sustain this drive. This drive has got to end with points for Kansas State. Try to stay out there as long as you can and end with some points on the scoreboard.
1st down and 10 to the 37. Barnes gets to the 40, make it the 41-yard line before Robert Barnes drops him. And Ruffin McNeil was interesting when we talked to him yesterday. His philosophy: clear mind, fast legs; cloudy mind, slow legs.
Yeah, and that goes to that first key, which is simplified. You know, you got to simplify for one reason, so that your guys can play fast. Oklahoma feels like they've done a nice job recruiting in the last couple of years, and that they've gotten some better athletes on this side of the football, and they want to try to simplify everything so that they can get out there and they can use that speed to their advantage.
2nd and 6 at the 41. Empty backfield for Skylar Thompson. Thompson, quarterback draw. Fumbled it. He had more room as he gains 1.5 yards.
I mean, there was just all sorts of space right here in the middle of the field, and Thompson, he alertly checks to that quarterback draw, and he's got it wide open. But watch as he just kind of grazed right there by Gallimore, number 90, who popped that ball out, hits the turf, and Kansas State is fortunate that they were able to fall right on it.
3rd down and 5 of the 42. Thompson underneath, and it's called for 1st down. Nicely done as Dalton Schoen found a soft spot and gained 6 on 3rd and 5.
Excellent pass, too. The ball placement was perfect for Thompson. When you get those inside routes that are slant routes, you've got to take your wide receiver down closer to the ground and put it on his frame so that he can protect himself, and you can assure that that ball is not going to get batted down. So an excellent pass there from Skylar Thompson.
1st down to the 48. Kansas State finding some rhythm now. Barnes, and he's ambushed behind the line of scrimmage by Curtis Bolton, the redshirt senior from Marietta, California.
Yeah, and Bolton is just going to slow play this, and then bang, he's going to come into the backfield. Watch as he does a great job of slipping by that block, and then he's got Barnes wrapped up in the backfield. A negative play on 1st down. It's exactly what Oklahoma needs. They're one of the worst teams in the country when it comes to 3rd down defense in short yardage. But if they can get you into long yardage, they actually are one of the best in the country. They're 6th in college football if they've got more than 5 yards to go on 3rd down.
2nd down and 11 at the 47. And Barnes stood up. He'll gain 1/2 yard. Kenneth Mann, Overton, and Kenneth Murray all combining on the tackle.
That's exactly the situation now we find ourselves in. 3rd and 5 or more yards. Oklahoma is 6th best in college football. The opponent only converting a little over 17% of the time, and they do a great job of getting aggressive on this down and distance. You're starting to see a little bit more man coverage creep in with Ruffin McNeil, and that's exactly what they're going to have right here. Lined up, head up on the outside with their corners.
3rd down and 10 at the 48. Let's see if Oklahoma brings some kind of pressure here. Thompson, all day to throw it underneath and incomplete. Intended for Zuber. But Trey Norwood was there defensively, and the Wildcats will punt it away.
And they did exactly what you need to do against man coverage. They ran crossing routes. And as Zuber was going all the way across the field, who was in his hip pocket? Trey Norwood, the sophomore from Fort Smith, Arkansas. Great job by him. He came into this game with 28 tackles on the year. He's actually been playing very well for the Sooners.
So Ankto will punt it away again. This time from 34, C.D. Lamb ready to return. And he has it at the 19. All right, time now for a game break. So let's go to Los Angeles and Greg Wolf.
Gus, thanks. We go to Jacksonville. First time Georgia, Florida has been a top 10 matchup in a decade. Couple of sophomores hook up here. Jake Fromm to Jeremiah Holloman. 16-yard score. Bulldogs lead 10-0 in the first quarter. Gus, Joel, back to you.
The world's largest cocktail party. I remember calling that game years ago when Robert Edwards played for Georgia.
You bet. You bet.
Hines Ward.
This version will be interesting because Florida's got the #1 pass defense in the SEC, and Jake Fromm had been struggling a little bit as opposed to what he did a year ago. And this Oklahoma faithful, they know all too well how well Jake Fromm was playing at the end of the year.
Kennedy Brooks, look at that handoff. That was interesting, but it didn't fool Kansas State, as Jordan Middle was there for the tackle. Mitty, excuse me.
Yeah, Mitty is right here, number 9-1. Watch how he just gets right past, and there was so much crisscrossing going on. I think that they confused themselves up front, and all of a sudden Mitty was in the backfield unblocked, and Brooks had nowhere to go.
You ever handed the ball off that way?
I've never done that. Well, when my shoulder was separated, I did that, but it was out of necessity.
Second down and 11. Murray, he's got a receiver, C.D. Lamb, and there he goes. C.D. Lamb, touchdown, OU, 82 yards.
Lamb was left all alone. Watch this. There's a breakdown in coverage, and Lamb is going to run just a little post. You see the corner lets him go. The safety bites up, and Lamb was all alone. Murray found him for a race down the field, and that's how quickly it happens. You don't score points on a couple of series in a row, and all of a sudden, Oklahoma is like a basketball team. They're up and down the court. It's fast break time.
Extra point good for Seibert. 1:35 to play. Lincoln Riley has the offense moving and grooving here in Norman as the Sooners take a 17-0 lead.
What's so interesting here is that the safety is going to bite kind of up, and then what happens is that's going to create all the space behind him, and as that space gets, see, there he bites up, and then there's the space behind him. That's exactly where Lamb finds himself, and I got to credit Murray, because sometimes the hardest thing to do is hit the guy who's wide open and you know it's going to be a touchdown. You got to calm yourself and throw an accurate pass over the middle of the field, and Murray was able to do that. You know, people are thinking to themselves like, hey, he should be able, he's wide open. I'm telling you, that sometimes is the hardest pass because your heart rate goes through the roof. You're like, oh my goodness, I just want to get it to him now. And you still have to calm down and throw it. C.D. Lamb goes for the touchdown.
Well, Murray, 7 of 9 to start this game, 164 yards and 2 touchdowns. And we're still in the first quarter.
Yeah, there's only one guy right now that is within earshot of Tua Tagovailoa, and that's Kyler Murray in the Heisman Trophy race.
Seibert boots it out of the end zone again. Now don't forget to check out Breaking the Huddle with Joel Klatt on Facebook live Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, sponsored by Dr. Pepper. The season really starting to heat up, JK.
Well, we're going to have the first rankings release on Tuesday. We'll obviously be reacting to that. I'm sure a lot of UCF fans will be tuning in because they love my opinion about UCF the last week or so.
What is your opinion?
Take a seat. They don't deserve the spot in the playoff. Well, play a real schedule. You know, these Power 5 teams are playing a real schedule. Ask Oklahoma how difficult it is to go undefeated. So they can win 20 games all they want, but it's like 4A high school football competing against 5A high school football.
First down, Thompson. And he's got a receiver, but Buki blasts him. Buki Radley Hiles is the freshman from Inglewood, California, with a big stick. And both players are down.
Wow.
Second down.
I mean, Buki is lining him up, head to the side. He leads with the shoulder, and he's low. Blaze Gammon is the tight end. Blaze Gammon is 6'7", 255 pounds. Brendan Radley Hiles is only 186 pounds. He's only 5'9". My goodness. Boy, that looks bad, but that was absolutely legal. Credit to Buki.
Buki is about his business. And they're not booing, folks. They're Bukiing.
I mean, the size difference, I mean, that's just, wow. You're talking about giving up 60 pounds there, and Buki went in like a missile. And again, he did it the right way. Head to the side, leading with the shoulder below the head or neck area. This is absolutely legal. Look how he goes in right to that arm. My goodness, what a play.
Second down and 10 at the 25. Barnes this time. Following his blocks. He'll get down shy of the 30. Jalen Redmond defensively for OU.
This is more the defense that we saw when we saw Oklahoma early in the year when they were playing against FAU and UCLA. And by that I mean, Gus, they're really sound up front right now, and there's maybe some of that simplicity. These defensive linemen are not getting out of position. You're not seeing the long runs. They're doing a really nice job of corralling Alex Barnes.
Third down and 7 at the 28 after the 3-yard gain. Alex Barnes remains in the backfield with Skylar Thompson. Here's Thompson over the middle, caught, still on his feet, shown, and he picks up a first down as he gets to midfield. A 23-yard gain.
I tell you what, this is such great patience from Thompson. Watch as he's going to just wait on it, and then right now the middle of the field opens wide open for Schoen, and he delivers that ball across the middle right on Schoen's chest. Norwood is just a touch late. Bolton misses a tackle because he's not wrapping up, and Schoen's able to gain a few more yards.
Schoen missed the Oklahoma State game with an undisclosed injury. First down at midfield for K-State. Thompson drops it off underneath. And this time, it's the fullback, Adam Harder. And he'll pick up 11. Kansas State moving the ball as we come to the end of the first quarter. But Oklahoma has a big lead. Fox College Football is sponsored by Volkswagen. On a beautiful day here in Norman, the Sooners with the lead. Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt, Jenny Taft, and Russell Westbrook in attendance, the former MVP star of the Oklahoma Thunder basketball team in the NBA. First and 10 at the 39. Barnes. And Alex Barnes gains 5.
Well, they've done a nice job through this first quarter against Barnes, and we'll see if Kansas State can start to find some seams in that running game. Kansas State struggled actually early against Oklahoma State running the football, and then in the second half is when Alex Barnes really got going. So expect the Wildcats to stick with the run game, stick with Barnes. Through the first quarter, he only had 8 yards on 7 carries.
Second and 5 at the 34. Thompson, first down, K-State. Well executed as Schoen makes another catch. This one a first down for the Wildcats.
And Thompson has thrown some nice passes on this series. One over the middle to Schoen. He actually threw a great ball to Gammon that Radley Hiles was able to break up, but that one was perfect. Off of the play action, getting it outside for an easy first down outside of that interior defense. So nice job by Kansas State here on this series.
Schoen, 3 catches for 35 yards. 1st and 10 at the 28. Barnes. And now that Kansas State offensive line starting to move people. Ryan Jones with the tackle.
Look at this cut from Barnes. This is just a sensational job. He's just going to get behind his lineman, and he's going to bounce all the way to that right side. Watch there. There's the cut. There's the hole. And then he finds it, gets some more positive yards. Good patience, good vision, good instincts there for number 34.
He gained 5 on the play. Alex Barnes from Pittsburgh, Kansas. 2nd and 5 at the 23. Runs it again. Dives forward and picks up a first down. Sean White with the tackle.
And this is what they're so good at. You're going to see the pulling tackle here, and the tackle's going to come all the way around. He's going to get a great block, and Barnes is just going to follow that block. There, right there, boom. You're going to get the block for the tackle. That's Scott France, the junior, number 74. And then Barnes just goes right off of it, just slips off of his hip, and he's able to gain positive yards and gets him into this manageable, easy, short yardage situation. Again, OU comes into this week last in the country, dead last in college football. 79% conversion rate of 3rd down and 4 or less.
Jordan Stillman checks in as the pistol back for K-State. They give it to the up back, Barnes, and it's a first down.
And another conversion in 3rd and short. Good push by this offensive line on that left side. Watch as they're going to just mash down, mash down, mash down. And when you're running the fullback, that's all you need to do. You don't need to be aware of the second level or the linebackers, because you only need a yard. You just have to get movement initially off the defensive line, and then the fullback can pick up the yard.
10th play of the drive that started at the Kansas State 25. 1st and 10 at the Oklahoma 17. This time it's Dalvin Warmack, and Warmack knocked backwards, and there is a flag on the play. Trey Norwood comes up and makes the hit.
They're talking about potentially a face mask in there.
A personal foul, grabbing the face mask by number 34 of the offense. It's a 15-yard penalty and replay first down.
Okay, watch Barnes here. Here's Barnes. They're going to get him as he's coming up onto the side. The corner, Norwood's going to come up. Watch right here. See how he grabs that face mask and turns it around on the block as he's trying to get a block. That's an excellent call by the official, because very tough to pick up. You're always looking for the defensive player in that face mask, but aware enough to understand the turn of the head from Norwood, and absolutely the correct call as Barnes grabbed the face mask as he's trying to get out there as a lead blocker.
So they'll back up the Wildcats. They'll be faced with a 1st and 25 now at the Oklahoma 32. Barnes and Warmack in the backfield. Barnes in motion. Thompson looks to the sideline, and he has his receiver out of bounds as Zach Reuter makes the catch.
One-on-one on that backside. You know, those are the rules. That's what we used to call an X tag. So he's the X receiver, and you just tag him with an out route over there, and then the quarterback just reads it like this. If he's got one-on-one coverage, take that out route. If it's any other coverage, then he goes and plays the rest of the concept on his left. So a nice pre-snap read there from Thompson. Take the one-on-one, an easy throw out to the right.
Gain of 6, 2nd and 19 at the 26. Thompson pulls it out. Throws on the move. And incomplete. Shown the intended receiver. Houghton defensively for OU.
And good pursuit by Kenneth Mann, number 55, because he's the one that was in pursuit of Thompson. And because of that pursuit, Thompson was unable to set his feet and turn his shoulders and get more on that ball. Mann did a nice job of hustling out there, and because of that, Thompson had to throw it on the run, and that's why it was short.
Current drive, 5 minutes and 27 seconds, so that Oklahoma defense is huffing and puffing now. 3rd and 19 for K-State at the OU 26. Thompson under pressure, steps up, runs it. Thompson, can he get the first down? It looks like he may have it. Or he's awfully close.
Boy, it looked like he got all the way there, but they're going to mark him actually a yard short. Man coverage in the back end. There's that left foot that actually is out, but remember, it's where the ball is at, not where the foot is at when he actually leaves the field of play. Boy, it looked like he got all the way down there to the 7-yard line. They mark him out at the 8. I think that's a poor spot. I would absolutely expect this to be checked out, because it looked like that ball was absolutely at the 7, and that they marked him back a full yard versus where he actually left the field of play.
Kansas State calls their first timeout of the half.
So Kansas State calls the timeout. 17-0. Back after this.
Welcome back to Norman. This was that last play. This is Skylar Thompson as he hit that out of bounds line, and you can see that ball clearly at or over the 7-yard line. They've spotted him at the 8, which makes it a 4th and 1. This ball is absolutely mismarked. It is a yard further back than it should be, and Kansas State's going to try to go for it right now. Remember, they review every play. It doesn't have to be an official review. They review every play in college football. I am shocked they haven't moved this ball up. This is absolutely the wrong spot.
4th down and 1 at the OU 8. Wildcat formation. Barnes takes it. And second effort. Looks like he has it.
Got himself all the way with that second effort, partner, all the way to the 5-yard line. Remember, had to get to the 7, and he got there. And OU has still not stopped a single 4th down all year. Now it's 10 of 10 4th down conversions. 4 yards or fewer in that short yardage category for Oklahoma.
First down and goal at the 5. 14th play of the drive for the Wildcats. Alex Barnes, no, it's Thompson. And Thompson dives. Did he get in? No signal yet. And it looks like he'll be short of the touchdown.
Short of a touchdown. It's 2nd down.
Awful close there. He leaps, and he actually does not touch the ground until that whole body comes down. His knee stays up, That's a touchdown. He's above the ground. That ball is hitting the goal line. That's absolutely a touchdown. There's Barnes, and watch as he leaps and nothing hits. There's his elbow right there. Left elbow. Ball looked to be touching the goal line. And this one will be reviewed. That left elbow was the first thing that came down.
Our Dean Blandino, rules expert in Los Angeles, joins us. Dean, what did you see?
Yeah, I thought I was going to get in a little bit earlier on that spot. I agreed with you, Joel. They did miss that. Here, I think the elbow's the first thing that hits. The ball looks to be breaking the plane of the goal line. This looks like a touchdown.
It's tough, Dean, to see where the elbow actually hits from this angle. There, it's down, and see that ball? That ball looks to be touching the goal line. That's all it has to be doing. He has control of it. Important piece of this. It looks like it's breaking the plane. Remember, ruled that he was down just short, so they're going to need that clear evidence to overturn this. But I think that this video is pretty clear when that elbow hits down. Dean and I was shocked that they didn't go back to that spot on the 4th down. It looked to be a full yard difference of that spot, so at least they're reviewing this one.
Yeah, it was at least a full yard. I thought they could have moved it up to the 7 and at least remeasured. Here, like you said, it has to be definitive. It looks like a touchdown. If there's any doubt.
After further review, the runner scored. It's a touchdown.
So Kansas State goes on a 14-play, 75-yard drive. The time of possession, whopping 7 minutes and 4 seconds.
It's exactly what they needed to do. Exactly what they needed to do. They wanted to emulate what Army did here in this stadium earlier this season when they held Oklahoma at only 44 offensive snaps, 45 offensive snaps.
Lynch for the extra point, and it's good. 9:31 to play in the second quarter. Kansas State scores 17-7. Fox College Football, presented by Volkswagen, is sponsored by Progressive Insurance, handing off big savings to you. 17-7, Kansas State on the board now as they go on an impressive 7-minute drive.
That's exactly what they needed to. In particular, after those first 2 drives, they gave the ball back to Kyler Murray just way too quickly in those first 2 drives. This is what they needed to do. And it was a huge drive of conversions. The 4th down conversion that they got after the poor spot. Thompson did a great job on that 3rd down, running from the pocket to give them that chance. And then a couple of nice throws that got them conversions on that series. So an excellent job there by Kansas State.
Nick McClellan will send it away with Sutton and Trey Brown back deep. This one kicked into the end zone for a touchback.
Let's take a look at our winning duos sponsored by Volkswagen. Why settle for an SUV when you can have an SUVW? And our winning duos right now, Kyler Murray and CD Lamb. Kyler 7 of 9 for 164 and 2 tugs. CD 3 receptions, already over the century mark with 103 yards and that impressive touchdown. Remember the big touchdown down the field, that long play. So these guys doing some work here in Norman.
Sooners start at their own 25. Sermon Brooks in the backfield. Murray drops it off. Sermon. And he'll get to the 30. Kyle Ball defensively for K-State.
This offense is so potent. So potent. Clearly right now, Alabama and Oklahoma have the 2 best offenses in college football, in large part to how well their quarterbacks are playing.
Second down at 5. Murray running, and he'll tiptoe his way out of bounds after picking up a first.
And that's the difference with this offense, save for what Alabama's doing. Alabama is doing.
Can anybody beat Alabama?
Well, yeah, I do. Of course. I mean, we saw Kentucky lose a couple of years ago in the NCAA basketball tournament. Absolutely, they can be beat. I actually think it's going to take a team like Oklahoma with a great offense that's not going to be afraid of a shootout. Because I don't think many teams are just going to hold Alabama down offensively like they don't hold OU down offensively.
Murray. And it's Hollywood.
Because think about it. Let's just say, for sake of argument, Michigan goes and plays Alabama. If Michigan's forced to score 35 points, I don't think they can do that. You know, I think, and quite frankly, I think they would just freak out. OU, let's say OU plays Alabama, and you tell Lincoln Riley, hey, first 1 to 60 wins. Great. In the Big 12, we call that Saturday. You know, so mentality plays into this.
First down at the 46. Kennedy Brooks in the backfield. He's a talented redshirt freshman. Here's Murray over the middle, and it's caught. Rambo. And he'll get out of bounds after another big gain of 17. Kendall Adams tosses him out of play.
These crossing routes, these short mesh routes, crossing routes, they're so dangerous because what they do is they get fast athletes on the move
in space.
And they do a great job of it.
Murray sprints out of the pocket, throws. Another first down. This time it's Calcaterra. Walter Neal tackles him, but gains of 10, 17, and this one a 21-yard gain for Lincoln Riley and the Sooners offense.
This is just ridiculous how efficient they are, how fast this happens. Calcaterra is going to take a break, but they clear out his zone for Calcaterra. Outside receiver runs straight down the field. Corner goes with him. He just drops into an out route. There's nobody there. Vacated zones. No one takes advantage of vacated zones like Oklahoma in the sport. They do an unbelievable job of it.
First down and 10 at the 15. Murray, another short pass. This time it's Miles Tees. I mean, everybody is touching the rock right now for the Sooners.
I mean, it looked like it was awful close. They're going to call him out, that he stepped out. He was trying to tiptoe down this sideline. Watch right there, and he just kind of touched that white line, and then that's where I think that they called him at the 3-yard line, as he's trying to reach that ball inside the pylon. But boy, he is quick, got that edge, and then just turned right upfield.
Tees, redshirt senior from Tulsa.
Further review.
And they'll take a look at it.
I thought it was the correct call, real speed, because it sure looked like that step at the 3 was on the paint. But Tees did a great job of even getting the corner. Nice block by Lee Morris, and then not this one, and not even this one. I think he's in there at the 5, but now the next step, it's the left foot at the 3. I see, that's where I think he's.
That's awfully close.
It is awfully close, but well, boy, after watching it again,
that might be a touchdown.
That one's close.
Could be.
I think that this is one of those, partner, that whatever it's called on the field, they're going to stay with. You know, I just don't know if they can overturn this. If he called it a touchdown, I don't think they could overturn it. Obviously, call him out at the 3. I don't know if they're going to be able to overturn it this direction either. Who do you defend, man?
That's the question.
I talked to all these defensive coordinators in this league, and they all look like they want to pull their hair out. Well, what do you do against Oklahoma? Keep them on the sideline. That's what you do.
Well, since Lincoln Riley joined the OU staff in 2015, the Sooners lead the nation in scoring offense, total offense, touchdowns from scrimmage, completion percentage, yards per pass attempt, and touchdown to interception ratio.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. It's first down at the 3-yard line.
That's exactly what we kind of expected.
Miles Tees saying to himself, almost had one.
Almost. Gus, this is the difference between most spread tempo offenses in Oklahoma. When you get a pure spread tempo offense inside the 5, it can become more difficult for them because they're not a great running team generally. OU, they're smash mouth as well. That's the best offensive line in the Big 12, lining up inside the 5 with Kennedy Brooks in the backfield.
First and goal to the 3-yard line. Not only do they have Brooks in the backfield, they have a quarterback that can run it. Option, pitch, Brooks, 6. OU, 4 possessions, 4 scores. 23-7.
Well, it's just going to be right here. You're going to stare at this outside linebacker. I mean, I have no idea what you would do if you're in that position. Daquan Patton is in no man's land because he's not going to catch Brooks on the outside, and it takes just a block or 2 by a wide receiver, and you're in for 6. Great design.
Austin Seibert for the extra point. And good. 24-7 OU. Murray having another great day. This time he runs the old school Oklahoma option play, and the Sooners take a 24-7 lead.
Coming up on the State Farm halftime, that's a college football playoff elimination game between Florida and Georgia. The Badgers are upset, and there's a surprise side atop the Big Ten West. Plus, the latest from Happy Valley as the Hawkeyes are in town. Gus, Joel, see you at the break.
(24-7). Oklahoma on top of Kansas State here in the second quarter. 7:29 to go. As the Sooners send it away. deep in the end zone for a touchback. Tomorrow, it's a Fox NFL doubleheader starting with the Redskins taking on the Giants. Then it's a massive showdown on America's Game of the Week as Aaron Rodgers and the Packers battle Todd Gurley and the undefeated Rams. It's all on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Check your local listings. How about those Rams? They play like a college team.
Shoot, man. Hey, here's the dirty little secret in the NFL. That's a college offense that Sean McVay is running. And they're doing it so well right now. That team is going to be tough to beat.
First down and 10 to the 25 for Kansas State. Flag on the play. Barnes running it. But there is a flag.
An illegal formation. There were 5 in the backfield for the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still first down.
All right, let's check in with Jenny Taft.
Well, something to keep an eye on, guys, for Buki. We did see him get hit earlier in that game, and for Bradley Hiles, he isn't in the mix right now. They had been spending some time massaging his left thigh right above the knee, and also someone to watch out for when it comes to Kenneth Murray. You know, he's been dealing with stingers. It's something they told us in the past. He is often getting massaged in that low back, uncomfortable at times, trying to stay loose.
Kenneth Murray is on the field. 1st and 15 at the 20-yard line after the penalty. Silman in the backfield. They give it to him running left, and he's taken down. Kenneth Mann. Shot out of a cannon with the tackle.
Yeah, this is a great job by Kenneth Mann. Watch, he's going to fight through the block and get himself all the way on the outside to the right. That's when he gets into the backfield. Now he's in position to affect the play, and he gets Barnes down to the ground.
Second down and 19 after the 4-yard loss. Thompson to the sideline. Zuber turns it up, gets to the 24 before finally being taken down by Robert Barnes. And there's been some changes in the secondary for this Oklahoma defense.
Yeah, and they needed to make a few changes. Robert Barnes was one of those changes, number 20, as he replaced Justin Broyles last week against TCU, as well as they put Trey Brown in the lineup, number 6. And Trey is a guy who's made a lot of plays for him. 6 PBUs, pass breakups on the year. He's just a sophomore from Tulsa.
3rd down and 10 to the 25. Play clock winding down.
And they need a timeout from the sideline.
Kansas State calls their second timeout of the half.
24-7. 5:30 to go in the second quarter. Fox College Football is presented by Volkswagen. Come in for a test drive during the Volkswagen Drive to Decide event. And is sponsored by Allstate, reminding you that football season is mayhem. Welcome back to the Palace on the Prairie. Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium, which opened in 1923. The record crowd, 88,038 against TCU last season. Right now, Kansas State down 24-7, faced with a 3rd and 10 at the 25.
OU is in that tight man coverage again, Gus. This is kind of a Ruffin McNeil wrinkle that they've got going on.
Thompson guns it and incomplete. Looks like he had a receiver, but Justin Broyles right on Dalton Schoen's back. And the Wildcats will have to punt it.
And that's a tough matchup for Broyles because he's only 5'10", Schoen's 6'1", 207 pounds, but he did a great job of getting right in his hip pocket. Here's Broyles in the slot, and he's just going to get right in his hip pocket and watch how he recovers, gets his head back around, and then his hand in there to knock it away.
Wildcats send it away. C.D. Lamb backpedals. Lets it take a bounce, and it goes out of bounds around the 10. A 65-yard punt. Aerial coverage is brought to you by our good neighbors at State Farm.
Well, here comes this offense again, and you know, this defense for K-State, they have not had much success with anything that they're doing. The only time that they've had a bit of success is if they can force some pressure on first down, create a negative play, and then on second and long and potentially third and long, some of that coverage can take hold, because they have forced Murray to hold the ball longer than he's wanted to at times.
First and 10 of the 10. Empty backfield. Murray gets out of the pocket. Murray with the speed. Sideline run, and he's out of bounds at the 35. This kid has incredible speed.
Oh, I thought you were going there. I thought you were going there.
What do you mean?
You know what I mean.
What?
You know what you say about speed.
Feline quickness?
Well, it could be feline. You got a more famous line than that out there in your history. I thought that's where you were going. I would have said he's quick as a hiccup.
I like that. First and 10 of the 33 after the 23-yard gain by Kyler Murray. Here's Murray again. Drops it off in the flat. Sermon. And Sermon upended by Justin Hughes. So what do you think, partner, at the beginning of the season? You know, you're a former professional baseball player. You were adamant that Kyler Murray is going to play pro ball after this year.
Well, I think being adamant about that is, and I don't know the specific language in his contract, but he's going to play baseball, or else they're going to peel back that $4.6 million that they gave him.
Actually, it was 4.7.
Well, at that point, who's counting?
What's $100,000 to Joel Clark?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Second and 6 at the 37.
So he'll play baseball, but the way that his season gone, who knows, man?
Murray to the sideline, and Lee Morris, his high school teammate with the catch, Walter Neal, brings him down. I don't know. My thoughts are this: a football player is a football player. In some way, shape, or form, a football player is going to play football. Third down and 2. Murray over the middle. What a pass. Beautiful touch. And another first down. Basquin with the catch, and it's a gain of 24.
You have no idea how hard that pass is. That pass requires such great touch. Great touch. That's like shooting a free throw, and it's got to be perfect, and he laid it right over the rim.
He'll throw it again. Murray looks backside. Dancing around like Fran Tarkington. Sermon. Another first down for Oklahoma. Now they're showing off.
Yeah, and Murray's showing off. So he comes back. Sermon's not even supposed to be in the route, but he knows he's an eligible receiver. Watch, he tells him, hey, get out there. Just release. And he dumps it over the top. Sermon gains positive yardage. That's a play. Keep in mind, folks, Kansas State played that play perfectly. That's what players that what I would call play above the X's and O's do for you. When you got Kyler Murray on the field, he's above the X's and O's. It doesn't matter how perfect you are on defense, he can still beat you.
First down and 10 of the 25. Murray will toss it again. Murray, look at the time over the middle. First down, OU. Carson Meyer. And JK, you gotta give a mad shout out to these offensive linemen.
Well,
who are they?
They're unbelievable. Cody Ford, right tackle. Drew Samia, the right guard. Creed Humphrey might be the most talented. He's just a redshirt freshman. Ben Powers, the left guard. Bobby Evans, the left tackle. They're the best offensive line in the Big 12, maybe in the country, and you're seeing that play out. They're running it. They're giving him all sorts of time, and when he's got that time, what happens is you get these little delayed releases. On that last one, Carson Meyer's in the protection. He is literally blocking the whole time. He sees that Murray needs an outlet. He just kind of drifts off, and then it's a big play.
Murray in the end zone. And incomplete. That one thrown behind Lee Morris, the intended receiver.
Tell you what I'm impressed with. You know, we've seen them be fast, tempo, volume, all those things, this offense. They seem more patient today. They seemed more patient against TCU. In fact, their defense only faced 55 snaps against TCU, and it's a very similar pace today, taking their time, allowing things to set up. Murray doing a great job in this ball game so far.
Second down and goal at the 9. Murray runs it. Touchdown, Oklahoma. 30-7, 2:15 to go in the second.
Check it out. You got the linebacker, you got the safety. They're both in man coverage. They're going to go to their right when Sermon and Lee Morris go to their left. Right, and then all of a sudden, boom. I'm quick as a hiccup, and I'm to the edge, and I'm in the end zone. That's how fast it happens. Great design right there. Understanding the coverage that Kansas State is in, drawing the man coverage away, and then Murray takes it down the back door and into the end zone.
Murray. And I think you're right, partner. He does have get away from the cop speed.
I knew it. I knew it. My man.
Here are the Go RVing sights and sounds from the beautiful campus here in Norman, Oklahoma. It's great energy when you come to OU to watch a game.
Yeah, man, and they're all about football. You know, that's what I love coming here. They compete for championships. They do a great job. It's an unbelievable fan base. Love coming here.
7-time national champions. This time Kansas State will get a chance. Zuber lost it. Loose ball. OU has it at the 21. Jordan Parker with the fumble recovery.
And it looked like Zuber just ran into his own man, kind of grazed the back of Wyatt Hubert. And the ball pops straight up. Watch as Zuber's going, and then there's 56, Wyatt Hubert, and he just runs into it back, and that ball pops straight up. Lack of ball security. OU on the money. Ball back and a chance to add to this lead with 2:08 left in the first half.
Oklahoma doing it in all phases of the game. Offense, defense. Austin Seibert has been terrific with touchbacks, and now Kyler Murray comes back on the field. Sooners with a 31-7 lead. 326 total yards. First and 10 at the 22. Sermon switches sides. They give it to him. Sidesteps. Gets through a keyhole. Still on the move and picks up a first down. Right now the Sooners just breaking the door down.
And yet the three elements of being a great back. First, he displays some vision and patience there. Then all of a sudden some quickness to get around the edge, and then power at the end to just throw it down and gain extra yardage. We call it the +2 back. You block it for 4, I'm gaining 6. You block it for 8, I'm gaining 10. It's a mentality, and Trey Sermon has it.
Sermon, sophomore from Marietta, Georgia. First and goal at the 10-yard line. Murray hands it to Sermon. And this time he's dragged down from behind. Well done, Reggie Walker.
Tell you what Walker does such a great job of is he reads the pulling guard. Watch, Walker is just going to read that the linemen are pulling, and he just gets in their hip and he runs right down the line of scrimmage. It's exactly what you're coached to do. Your man pulls and goes opposite, follow him. He's taking you to where the ball is going, and that's exactly what Reggie Walker did.
Second down and goal at the 10. What do they like to run down here in this kind of yardage situation?
That's the problem, is that they don't have many tendencies. They do a lot of things well. Riley's going down there because it looks like he wants to call a timeout.
Second down, goal to the 10. Kyler Murray looking. Murray avoiding. Murray buying time. And finally, he just dumps it. That brings up third down and goal at the 10-yard line.
Well, he was smart to get rid of that because he would have lost huge yardage. But the other intelligent part of what Murray just did is he understood that that ball had to get back to the line of scrimmage. And he was so far back that he knew he had to throw it basically down the field and out of bounds in order to avoid the intentional grounding call. But now on the third down, look for them to try to clear out a zone and then get somebody in the soft spot of the zone, like a swing route to this bottom side, or even a guy like Calcaterra as the wide receivers clear out and he heads to the corner.
Hollywood Brown, the receiver at the bottom of your screen. They go in that direction and incomplete.
That's exactly what they tried to do. Calcaterra to the corner. I thought Murray threw that one a bit quick and a little bit too hard for a back shoulder catch for a tight end. And Kansas State avoids the quick turnaround after the turnover, and now they're forcing at least a field goal opportunity. So a nice job by this defense, and the coverage did a great job. Lincoln Riley, he wants more. He wants execution at all times.
Austin Seibert. Now we talk about the many future pros on this Oklahoma team. Here's one of them, their place kicker, Austin Seibert. From 27 yards away, and it's perfect as usual. Will he be a punter or will he be a kicker in the NFL? That's the big question for this young man. 34-7. Don't forget, folks, coming up at the half, Rob Stone, Dave Wannstedt, Matt Leinart, and Robert Smith are standing by with the State Farm halftime show. A lot of stuff to talk about. 34-7, our score right here.
Including the second hottest team right now in the Big Ten, the Iowa Hawkeyes. Watch out for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Gus, you and I saw them against Wisconsin. They lost that game, but partner, you and I both know they were the better team that night. A couple of special teams turnovers is the reason that Wisconsin won that ball game. That's the lone loss for Iowa, and right now they're giving Penn State all they can handle on the road.
Zuber from the goal line. And Zuber goes out of bounds close to the 20-yard line. That's right, Nate Stanley for Iowa, their quarterback. It looks like he's continuing to improve his play on the year.
Well, they got one of the better quarterbacks in the country, Nate Stanley, and I think they have the best tight end in the country in Noah Fant. And he goes a bit under the radar, but this guy is going to be a first-round talent for Iowa. So that team getting better and better. It's not going to surprise me at all, in particular with Wisconsin's loss today to Northwestern. Won't surprise me at all if Iowa ends up winning the West and represents that division in Indianapolis in the Big Ten championship game.
So Kansas State will take a knee and head into the locker room trailing 34-7. OU with 386 yards and 34 points in the first half. They scored on all 6 of their possessions. Halftime here in Oklahoma. Let's go to Los Angeles and Rob Stone. Fox College Football is sponsored by Volkswagen. Welcome back to Norman. Halftime, Oklahoma with a 34-7 lead. Gus Johnson along with my partner Joel Klatt. And JK, Oklahoma was supposed to win this game. They were favored by 25 coming in, but I tell you what, they've got some athletes and they're getting scarier and scarier by the moment.
Ain't that the truth? And here's the thing, like, it's not just 1 or 2 guys. It's everybody getting into the mix, and Murray finds all of these athletes, and he finds them out of the backfield, from the wide receiver position, from the tight end position. Just check this out. First is Murray to CeeDee Lamb. Yeah, that's the known commodity, right? Murray to Marquise Brown. We know about that. Murray to Lee Morris. That's obviously been effective. Now it's Murray to Grant Calcaterra. That's been effective as well. Now Miles Tease gets in on it, number 87. Now all of a sudden it's Charleston Rambo. Then it's Nick Basquin. He's catching a big ball. Then all of a sudden Trey Sermon out of the backfield. He wiggles for some yardage. Carson Meyer out of the backfield. He finds his way inside the 10. Who do you defend? Wow. Who do you defend? Leads us to our Geico first half stats, and that's what leads to 386 yards and 19 first downs in 1 half of football. 6 plays at 20 or more yards. I mean, this offense, man, I tell you what.
What is it about this kid here, though? I mean, 42-0 in high school. Went to A&M. Things didn't work out. Transferred here. Sat behind Baker. Now he gets his opportunity, and it's just like intellectually, he's phenomenal. He can keep everybody's hands full.
Yeah, he's patient, one, and you can tell. See, all of this work, this isn't about what happens this year. All of the work that he did as a backup is what's paying dividends. That's when you learn the offense. That's when you sit there and you don't just fall asleep in the meeting, but you're actually engaged in the meeting so that you understand the offense. And when you talk with Lincoln Riley, he'll tell you that in the last couple of years, sitting behind the eventual Heisman Trophy winner, Baker Mayfield, this guy, Kyler Murray, was engaged. He was engaged in learning. He understood what he was getting into, and he's obviously done a great job.
All right, let's check in with Jenny.
Well, you guys just talking about the offense, the patience. Well, I asked Lincoln Riley about that, and he said other than that last series to go to break, yeah, I've been really happy with what I've been seeing. He specifically highlighted the O-line and how well they're playing. I also had a chance to ask him about Hollywood Brown. He said the good news, the ankle's feeling good. Not sure how much I'll use him in the second based on how the game goes. The theme defensively was all about simplicity. He said, I like the way we're attacking. Other than a couple 3rd and longs, we can be better, but we're getting there. It's a work in progress.
All right, Jenny, thank you. 1st and 10 at the 25 for K-State. And Thompson throws it up high to the sideline, and it's caught. Nice catch on that play for Malik Knowles, who switched his number from 81 to 4 before the game.
Yeah, and he's getting a chance at some action because another backup, Isaiah Harris, number 2, was actually out, and Malik Knowles, who was 81 coming into this game, had to switch to 4. He's just a true freshman from Mansfield, Texas.
It's 2nd down and 5 at the 30. Alex Barnes. In your opinion, how's this defense playing for OU?
Okay. You know, I think that the scoreboard probably looks better than what they have played. They've done a really nice job on 1st down. But the concern is, and I might be nitpicking here, but the concern is that the same old issues have stayed the same, which is they haven't been great in short yardage on 3rd down. They haven't been great in the red zone when they had a chance to get off the field. So those things have to get fixed. But, partner, here's a couple of things they are doing better. They're getting lined up quicker, and they're playing hard. They're playing fast, and it's just a touch of a difference.
3rd down and 4 at the 31. Here's the screen, and it's read perfectly. Curtis Bolton says to Joel Klatt, nitpick this play.
I tell you what, Bolton does a great job. Here's Bolton. He's right at his linebacker position, and then he's just going to not get fooled. Watch how his eyes are there. His eyes are there, and then now he comes in for that screen, even though Thompson was faking that pass to the right. So a great job of being disciplined with your eyes. That's always what you hear from defensive coaches. Eye discipline. That was a great example by Bolton.
4th punt of this game for Kansas State. C.D. Lamb ready to return it. And Lamb will get a shot. Flag on the play. C.D. Lamb. And he's driven down at the 25. Nice special teams coverage for Kansas State. A 57-yard punt and a 10-yard return. Isaiah Harris with the tackle. Will make that Robinson with the tackle on special teams.
Flag was way on the far side at the 50-yard line. Makes me think that this maybe was some sort of sideline warning, as on those punts, you know, the official can be running down the sideline, but they're discussing something down there, maybe a hold on that outside on the Gunners. But a lot of discussion here. His hat is off, so it could be about someone running out of bounds and then staying out of bounds. Remember, you got to make an effort to get back in bounds as quickly as you can.
A personal foul, blocking a player out of bounds by number 25 of the receiving team. The penalty is half the distance to the goal in his 1st down.
Okay, so here's Broyles. Here's Broyles up here as a corner. And they've got kind of the double team, and then he's out of bounds right there. And then he takes the extra shot and the extra block when the Kansas State player is out of bounds. And the key is that they forced him out and then they blocked him. Okay, so they push him out of bounds, and then the second guy came up, he blocked him, and that's what draws the flag.
Hey, Kelly. Yeah, it was on 48. That should be 13, right?
Now Lincoln is questioning where this ball is spotted and the enforcement of this foul.
Lincoln Riley, only 35 years old, the second youngest head coach in FBS to 32-year-old Sean Lewis of Kent State. In his second season here at OU. First and 10 at the 9 for his offense. And the handoff. Kennedy Brooks gets downhill. Chopped down. And around the 14. Good tackle by Eli Walker and Justin Hughes. But it is a 5-yard gain.
And we'll see how long the starters stay in. Marquise Brown is on the field. He's at the top of your screen for OU. You got Murray still in the ball game. You know, it is 34-7, but see if they go down and get a quick score, it might be over for the starters.
Here's Brooks, first down, hits the sideline. Kennedy Brooks, the redshirt freshman from Manfield, Texas, cuts it inside. Touchdown Sooners, 86 yards.
What an amazing job. First you get the full block, so the offensive guard here, Ben Powers, is going to get up the middle, and then now it's Brooks, and watch as he's going to just creep out to the right side, and then the angle that he takes right there, it just beats Walker. He gets to the sidelines, and now he's gone. This guy has home run ability, and then the cutback, and he gets himself into the end zone. Wow, another explosive run from Kennedy Brooks. It seems like that's all this guy does. It's 10+ yard carries every time he touches the ball, it seems like.
But what a block by Ben Powers, number 72. He cleared the path, and Brooks, 86-yard touchdown. His second touchdown of the day. Oklahoma up big. Fox College Football is sponsored by Ford. Built Ford proud. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Postcards from Fansville, sponsored by Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville. A lot to cheer about for Sooner fans, as they are putting it on Kansas State right now. 7 possessions, 7 scores. 477 yards of total offense for Oklahoma.
Yeah, this is a bit alarming, because I got to tell you, the trademark of Kansas State has always been their effort and their soundness, and that has not been the case today.
Let's go to Greg Wolf in Los Angeles.
Gus, thanks. We go back to Jacksonville in that top 10 battle between Georgia and Florida. Felipe Franks. Look at this strike over the middle. He finds Freddie Swain, 36-yard touchdown. Gators take their first lead of the afternoon. They're on top 14-13, third quarter. Gus, Joel, back to you.
All right, thank you very much. As a matter of fact, the first time, Joel, I met Bob Stoops. He was the defensive coordinator for Steve Spurrier at Florida.
Yeah, had a nice discussion with Bob actually earlier today about that and his time at Kansas State right before
Oklahoma
he went to
calls their
Florida.
first time out of the half.
Back then, Peyton Manning was a quarterback at Tennessee. When Stoops was the defensive coordinator at Florida, Manning never beat the Gators during his career as the starter. However, T. Martin came in the next year and beat him. There's Coach Stoops, big game Bob. And you just wonder how long he can continue to sit in the press box and not be on the field leading a nationally ranked college football team.
Interesting.
I asked him, I said, what time do you get up in the morning? He said, I still get up at 6. I can't sleep. Golf game is getting better.
190 wins here at OU. The one national championship in 2000, played for several more. His program needed him when he came here to Norman. They had fallen on some hard times in the late 90s, and he brought them right back to a place where they've lived really throughout their history, which is the top echelon of college football, and they've stayed there ever since.
Thompson, he'll run it. And that defense there once again. As a matter of fact, Bob Stoops was an assistant coach for guess who? Bill Snyder at Kansas State. He also was on the staff with him at Iowa as a graduate assistant under Hayden Fry.
Yeah, a lot of ties there, and a lot of things started back at Iowa. You know, he was on that same staff with Snyder back in '83 with Barry Alvarez, Kirk Ferentz, all those guys. And when Bill Snyder got the job in '89 in Kansas State, he took Bob Stoops with him, and they really for 4 or 5 years orchestrated one of the great, if not the greatest turnaround, and really it's not even a question, the greatest turnaround in college football history is what Bill Snyder and his staff, including Bob Stoops, was able to do at Kansas State.
Second down and 14. Thompson near side, and it's caught, shown, and he's driven out of bounds by Justin Broyles. So let's take a look.
There's that.
Born in 1983, Lincoln Riley is the second youngest coach in FBS. What was Bill Snyder doing in '83? Well, he was part of a legendary Iowa coaching staff as an offensive coordinator under Hayden Fry. On that staff with him, Kirk Ferentz, Barry Alvarez, Dan McCarney, and a graduate assistant who eventually will get the big nickname, Big Game Bob Stoops. Third down and 1 at the 34. His little brother's having a pretty good year at Kentucky as well. Thompson runs it, throws it out wide, incomplete. Shows the intended receiver. And Kansas State will punt it away.
This is a poor read by Thompson. He's got blockers for blockers here, and he's got the count. All he's got to do is run for the first down. There's only 2 players on this side of the line. All he's got to do is keep this ball, dive for the first down. He threw it way out wide on the throw to shown that, I got to tell you, that's a low percentage throw. Running to your left, trying to throw it to a wide receiver, also running away from you. There's a tight window to throw that ball there, and they're going to have to punt it away.
Ankle punting for the 5th time. And C.D. Lamb lets it go out of bounds. Will OU continue to put it on Kansas State? Kennedy Brooks says, if you put me in, that's what I plan to do. 41-7. Fox College Football presented by Volkswagen is sponsored by Wendy's. Get Wendy's delivered right to your door with DoorDash. Enjoy no delivery fee during game day all season long. Aerial coverage is brought to you by our good neighbors at State Farm. Big day for the Oklahoma Sooners. They keep rolling as they lead Kansas State 41-7. Defense starting to make a statement as well for OU.
Well, they put up some of their better numbers of the season last week against TCU, and I can tell you this, those 13 committee members that are going to get together early this week for the first rankings release, they better take note of what this Oklahoma team is doing right now.
Kennedy Brooks running it. And I don't know if you remember, you're probably too young, some of those great Oklahoma teams with Thomas Lott, Billy Sims, and later on they had guys like Marcus Dupree. This is
I was
during
more
my youth.
familiar with those 80s teams, you know, because they were in the Big 8. I grew up near Boulder. My dad would take me to Colorado games and watch some of these great Oklahoma teams.
Go far side. And that one caught by Basket. Had the Boz era. Tony Casillas. Man, I loved watching these guys play when I was a kid.
Jamel Holloway. How about this? A couple of guys could have caught that. They're fighting for catches out there right now for OU.
Third down and 3 at the 34. TJ Pledger and Kennedy Brooks in the backfield now with Kyler Murray. Bobbles a snap, picks it up. Murray, Chicken, Savitt. A gain of 5.
I mean, I guess when you've been the fastest guy on the field your whole life, you never panic. Like, I'll just tell you this right now, 90% of quarterbacks right there would have been like, oh my goodness, and just totally freaked out. And Murray just calmly picks up the ball and he's like, oh, I'm about to run away from this guy. And then he just sprints out to his left and gets the first down.
But he's a middle infielder, isn't he?
Center field.
Center field, okay. Good hands out. 1st and 10 at the 39. Murray runs it. Hesitation. Gets to the 45.
It's getting to that point, though. I got to tell you, really hesitate to bring this up, but 41-7. I'm sure there are a lot of Oklahoma fans that are holding their breath every time Kyler Murray runs the football. You know, this is not what you'd want to see if you're Lincoln Riley, right? And so. And it's really the first since today. And listen, he's put on a show. 340 total yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 of them on the ground.
He's passed for close to 300 yards, 294. Murray delivers. 300 plus. CD Lamb. Touchdown Sooners. That might be his final play of the game.
Probably should be. And he got away with one. Remember, I told you earlier in the game, Duke Shelley, the best corner for Kansas State, is not playing. And his replacement, Kevian McGee, number 14, he has a chance here, but he gets caught in between. The ball is floated, and so he goes for it. But if you go for it, you got to at least keep that back arm on the wide receiver because there's no help down the field. And as soon as Lamb wrestled that ball away from McGee, he was gone because there was no help. So a mistake there from the junior from Ardmore, Oklahoma, leads to another Oklahoma touchdown.
CD Lamb, 4 catches, 160 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And you feel for these Wildcats of Kansas State. Extra point good. 48-7 OU. Time now for SoFi Power of Ambition.
I'm not going to lie, I never envisioned being an offensive lineman. I always threw the ball to myself and envisioned catching touchdowns and winning football games. That's not the case. But mom's cooking just was too good. But anyways, I envisioned playing football my whole entire life, and I just wanted to be in the NFL so bad. I was a big dreamer as a kid.
Power of Ambition, sponsored by SoFi, a personal finance company to fit your goals.
Dalton Reisner, the right tackle for Kansas State. And I know it's been a really tough day for the Wildcats, but on a bright side, this guy is not only a sensational person, but player, and he's likely to be a first-round draft pick this April.
Mom's cooking was too good. I love that line. As Thompson and the offense comes back on the field.
Got to find something. Remember now, they thought that they had found something. In the last 2 games, their run game had been so good, led by Dalton Reisner. He's such an experienced guy, senior from Wiggins, Colorado. Really a heck of a right tackle. Like I said, first-round talent, no doubt. And they felt like they had something going. And this Oklahoma team has just, you talk about buzzsaw. You know, and part of it has been the defense, in particular, Gus, in situations like this on first down.
Here's a first down run. Looking for room. Warmack, and a nice gain, close to a first down. And for more on Dalton Reisner, let's go downstairs to Jenny.
Well, guys, there's a reason he's a 3-time team captain. Coach Snyder said the word to describe him is genuine. He's a genuine leader, he's a genuine football player, and he's a genuine member of the community. And Gus, it'd be hard to tell you all the ways he's involved. Community service, helping with the youth, helping in schools. This guy does it all, and it really is part of his talent. He's not just a good football player, but who he is in the community. It's something that is going to live on in his legacy with K-State.
You're absolutely right. And one person he may have gotten that philosophy from is his head coach, Bill Snyder. And Bill Snyder is Kansas State. He's been a terrific leader, member of the community, person. But at 79 years old, you just wonder if it's time. 1st and 10 at the 37. Thompson. Incomplete.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, man, that's it's a question that I think has been posed and speculated over for a few years, obviously, and even probably more so, Gus, 2 years ago when he was dealing with that, you know, the throat issue, the throat cancer, and he came out of that. He's healthy. He seems like he wants to coach some more. Here's the hard part for someone like me. You know, if you study this sport, you realize that Kansas State was borderline going to get kicked out of Division I because they couldn't put enough fans in the seats in 1988. You know, you had to average, I think it was 12,000 fans. Oh my goodness.
Jalen Redmond with the tackle for the loss.
You had to average about 12,000 fans. They couldn't get 12,000 fans, you know, at Kansas State. So he comes in with a staff from Iowa. Bob Stoops was part of that, and they hadn't won a game in 3 years. I'm talking about 3 years, and all of a sudden he turns it around to the point where in 1996 they're #1 in the country. They've only missed a bowl 3 times since 1995 when Bill Snyder has been the head coach. So he is the program, which then it makes it, you know, boy, that becomes hard. It's almost like, hey, man, you can do it for as long as you want to.
Sideline throw and caught. Looks like that's Malik Knowles. Bill Snyder is the only active coach in the College Football Hall of Fame, inducted in 2015. Active coaches are only eligible once they turn 75. And he is one of just 4 coaches with 100 or more Big 8/Big 12 wins. The others, Tom Osborne, Bob Stoops, and Barry Switzer. 4th down and 1. K-State will punt it away. CD Lamb back deep.
Trust me, there's no one more disappointed with the way they're playing this year, and in particular today, than Bill Snyder.
They're caught at the 10. 48-7. 5:54 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Back to Norman after this.
Let's take a look at our Duracell most trusted player, and it's obviously Kyler Murray. This dude was unreal today. 19 of 24, 351, 3 touchdowns. He also ran for close to 50 yards and another touchdown, quick as a hiccup, and so accurate down the field. I think it's been that ability that maybe has been the surprise of this season, is his ability with efficiency, Gus, to throw the ball down the field.
28 touchdown passes this season, only 3 interceptions.
There's only one guy that's putting up numbers that I wouldn't even say surpass, but compete with, or on the same level, and that's Tua Tagovailoa. Comes into today, and they have a bye at Alabama, but 25 touchdowns, no interceptions for Tua. These 2 guys are playing off, literally just off the charts. I mean, you could say that we saw maybe some of the best offensive football ever last year from Oklahoma. This is the first offense in history to have 3 unanimous All-Americans.
Austin Kendall in the game now, at quarterback.
And they're even better this year as they, again, get a little extra stuff going on. And that was Daquan Patton. Now there's a Kansas State player down. And Pledger, he kind of gets thrown down. Yeah, there was no need for that. No need for that. And injured player, that was Justin Hughes.
Looks like he got kicked.
Yeah, it was kind of, maybe even his hand. Watch his right hand. It's in the kind of in the face mask. And you see how and then he gets kicked. You're absolutely right, Gus. No need for that. No need for that from Daquan Patton.
Wildcats obviously frustrated. Down 48-7. This Oklahoma offense has had their way with the Kansas State defense. 8 possessions, 8 scores, 550 plus yards. And we're still in the 3rd quarter. 3rd and 6. Austin Kendall looking for the first down, and he has it.
Austin Kendall played so well in spring ball and even through fall camp. Remember, it wasn't until late in the fall that Lincoln Riley even named Kyler Murray the starter. We all expected it because we know how talented he is. I don't think we expected the season that he's having. But Austin Kendall played incredibly well in the offseason. I was here for their spring ball game. Just kind of came into town and wanted to see it. And Austin played really well on an incredibly windy day. And that was the reason why Lincoln held out on naming a starter, was because of the way that number 10 was playing.
First down to the 22. Pledger in at running back. And Pledger running. First down. As he's finally taken down by Eli Walker after a 13-yard gain. Austin Kendall has played now in 4 games, including today. And a flag on the play.
Yeah, late flag. This is going to be on Tyrese Robinson, number 52 for Oklahoma. And he just let the emotions get the best of him here. He's blocking down the field. Nice long run by Pledger. And he's blocking against Wyatt Hubert. And he just starts shoving him, shoves him a second time. Then he shoved him a third time right in front of the official. This is well after the whistle. Totally ill-advised. Absolutely should draw a penalty flag. And Tyrese Robinson is going to be the culprit here. Yeah, these guys are deliberate out here today, but they're just
and I think they're doing a great job because it's starting to get really chippy out here, especially when you consider the score.
You know me, I'll be candid anytime. Daquan Patton, the last play, they absolutely missed it. They call this one. This is a good catch.
A personal foul by number 52 of the offense. It's a 15-yard penalty, but the runner made the line to gain, so it's still first down.
The reason that took so long is they were trying to say, here's 50, here's Tyrese Robinson. See Hubert and him are running. Okay, there's the first push, and then there's another push. And that's obviously the one that draws the flag, and there you see the flag come in. And they were just wondering, okay, did he have the first down? And then because that's a dead ball foul, so is it 1st and 10 or was it not 1st and 10? So that's why there was some confusion about the administration of the penalty.
So first down at the 20-yard line. And they're handed off Pledger. First down and more as he spins forward. That offensive line, backups in now, continuing to fire off the football, but another flag after a 17-yard gain.
More stuff behind the play. Eli Walker was tangled up. It looked like maybe A.D. Miller.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness by number 7 of the defense. It's a 15-yard penalty and a first down.
This is I got to tell you, I've been around Big 8 and now Big 12 football. I played in this conference, Gus. I've never seen Kansas State play with this pedestrian of effort and this undisciplined a character. Never in my life. This is as low as it's gotten for K-State in a long time, and very frustrating. If I was a Wildcat fan, I would be incredibly frustrated with the way this team has played and performed, and even more so, and this is the disappointing part, behaved.
First down and 10 at the 48, and a fumble. Kendall picks it up, and Kendall bouncing around and slides down close to a first down, and they may give it to him.
I think he'll be just a touch short because remember it starts from the start of the slide exactly when he gives himself up, so it'll be about a yard short, but that's twice now in like as many series where we see the quarterback fumble work out for Oklahoma. I wonder, like, does Lincoln have this in the playbook? It's like, okay, on this snap, drop it, and then the hole will open up, and then we're gonna go.
Lincoln Riley has a lot in his playbook. As a matter of fact, when we talked to Ruffin McNeil yesterday, he talked about what it was like to coach with Lincoln when he finally got a chance to hear him and the calls. Here's a reception, A.D. Miller, and A.D. Miller, nice stick for Kansas State's Jerron McPherson.
Yeah, how about that? Jerron McPherson played 1 year in the junior college ranks, and he redshirted once he got to Kansas State last year in 2017. He's from Butler Community College. But he comes in and he replaced Eli Walker, who had that penalty earlier in the series, and he comes in right away and makes a nice little stick on A.D. Miller. This offense, though, they don't, I mean, it doesn't matter. You put another quarterback in. Here's the thing about Oklahoma right now. Lincoln Riley is recruiting at such a high level that their backups, very similar to Clemson, very similar to Alabama, their backups are as good or better than anybody out there.
Pledger. He's proving that he is definitely a serviceable backup for OU. Kyle Ball with the tackle.
I think TJ Pledger would be the primary back at probably 8 of the 10 Big 12 schools. as a true freshman. He was a 4-star recruit. He was a U.S. Army All-American. He chose OU over Clemson, Georgia, and Ohio State in a heated recruiting battle. But he's got a stable of backs in front of him. Trey Sermon, Kennedy Brooks, Marcellus Sutton, who's a senior, and let's not forget earlier this year, Mr. Anderson, Rodney Anderson, was really the primary back.
Second down and 2 at the 21. And the Sooners stay on the ground with Pledger, and he picks up a first down. What makes Lincoln Riley such a dynamic play caller?
Oh gosh, you know, a lot of it is instinctive, and part of it is his rhythm, and this is what yesterday Ruffin McNeil talked to us about. The first time he ever heard Lincoln call plays, he was astounded by the rhythm. There was no panic. The call was ready. It was almost like the drummer of a great band. He's the one that kept everyone on pace, on tempo. The offense flowed. It had rhythm, in part because the play caller flowed and had rhythm. But it only works, that rhythm, Gus, when you see it. And he sees the field exceptionally well. He understands what the defense is trying to do, and he combats it.
Sutton this time. And Sutton breaking tackles. Gets close to the 5, a 12-yard run, ball with a tackle.
And I forgot the most important part. You ready?
Yeah.
His jimmies are better than his Joes. You know, that's a big part of that as well. And Lincoln has done a great job recruiting.
Riley won the Broyles Award as the nation's top assistant in 2015. He's a Lubbock native, former walk-on graduate at Texas Tech, who played behind Cliff Kingsbury. Right now, he's in front of Kingsbury and the rest of the Big 12 offensively, 48-7. Fox College Football is sponsored by Volkswagen. Norman, Oklahoma. Big day for the Sooners. Gus, Joel, Jenny, and Dean with you on the coverage. Kyler Murray out of the game now after a big day. Austin Kendall leading the charge, and Oklahoma's Pledger running the ball, and he runs into a brick wall by the name of Jerron McPherson.
I tell you what, you talk about taking an opportunity and running with it. We hadn't seen McPherson on the field much today. Eli Walker goes out there, who's been a pretty good player for them, gets an ill-advised penalty after the snap, and all of a sudden we've got Jerron McPherson in here making some plays. I like it. Even the OU guys saying, oh, I see you, Buki. It's like, okay.
Second down and goal at the 3. Option. Kendall breaks a tackle and dives forward. Lucky to get past the line of scrimmage. Trey Deshawn with the tackle.
Just did not get away from Wyatt Hubert in the backfield cleanly. Kind of tripped and then stumbled inside the 5. And this is that area of the field where they love that little option play, which is what they were trying to run on that last snap. I have a feeling on third down, they're going to just see if their offensive line can get this one in.
Third down and goal to the 3-yard line. Pledger. And he's tackled for a loss. Great job by the Kansas State defense as Kyle Ball came up and made a play.
Yeah, a missed assignment there. What you're going to get here, watch right here, you're going to get this action from the fullback, and that's Jeremiah Hall, and he's going to miss the block. He's got a block 44 right there. I mean, it's set up perfectly, but he just totally whiffs. He goes to the outside, and Pledger's got nowhere to go as Kyle Ball is right in his face.
Austin Seibert trying to make it 3 for 3 on the day. He's hit a 32-yarder and 27-yarder. This one from 22 yards out. And good. 51-7. 12:57 to go in the fourth quarter. Fox College Football is presented by Volkswagen. Come in for a test drive during the Volkswagen Drive to Decide event. And is sponsored by Ice Cold Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville. Aerial coverage is brought to you by our good neighbors at State Farm. Norman, Oklahoma. 51-7 is our score. OU leading Kansas State. Seibert ready to send it away. We'll get an opportunity to see this OU defense again under Ruffin McNeil in his second game as the defensive coordinator, replacing Mike Stoops. After the Texas game, the Red River rivalry. And Seibert bombing it again. Now coming up next, it's game 4 of the World Series. Manny Machado and the Dodgers look to tie the series as they energize the hometown crowd. But Mookie Betts and the Red Sox aim to quiet the LA faithful. Red Sox Dodgers. Game 4 next on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
I just wonder, I mean, who can pitch, right? So these guys are going to start, Rodriguez and Rich Hill. But I mean, this is going to be survival of the fittest after the 18-inning affair last night. Max Muncy, of course, delivering the walk-off home run for the Dodgers, earning them the win in the 18th.
First down and 10 of the 25 for K-State. They throw it out wide, and it's caught. Nice play this time for Kansas State as Gill makes the reception.
And this Oklahoma team, you know, in the midst of this transition defensively, Gus, they're going to have to find an identity on that side of the football. They've been so entrenched as an offensive-oriented team, and now Lincoln Riley making the switch from Mike Stoops to Ruffin McNeil as the defensive coordinator, just to try to make a spark, get a spark, you know, a new voice, something to hopefully improve this defense.
Ruffin McNeil not only has head coaching experience as Kansas State's Silman picks up the first down, a gain of 12. He was at East Carolina, but going all the way back to when he played at East Carolina, he was coached by the legendary Pat Dye, who went on to coach at Auburn. Bo Jackson, there's Ruffin, two-time captain on that East Carolina team. He got his graduate degree from Clemson in counseling, a master's in counseling. So at an early age, he was preparing himself to mentor young men. First down and 10 at the 44, coached under Danny Ford at Clemson. Here's Silman. And McNeil told an interesting story because Pat Dye played for the legendary Bear Bryant at Alabama, and he said sometimes he'd go to practice and he'd see this man in this jacket and this stingy brimmed cap, and it was the Bear.
Man, you talk about an imposing figure over the history of the sport, the Bear. And obviously, I think he's the only one that you could put in the conversation along with Nick Saban as maybe the greatest head coaches of all time.
Thompson winds up, throws it down the field, and nobody home.
And before all you OU fans hit me up on Twitter, yes, Bud Wilkinson would be in that conversation as well.
Barry Switzer.
Barry Switzer might be in there. Going to get a pass interference here on the defense. And let's be honest, right?
Pass interference by number 11 of the defense. It's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
So that's Parnell Motley. I wish we could just stop the statistics now, right? Because here's what the starters for OU gave up just over 150 yards. They did a remarkable job today. They saw less than 50 snaps of the football. Whatever happens from here on out, obviously you're trying to improve, and it'll go on the stat sheet. But listen, the starters for back-to-back weeks basically had season lows in yards, plays seen. Did it against TCU, and then another pretty solid performance today against Kansas State.
And Ruffin McNeil has a history of improving defenses going back to his days at Texas Tech with Mike Leach and Silman. Dragged down from behind by Redmond. As you take a look at these numbers of Coach McNeil when he was at Texas Tech.
And this is once he became the interim DC at Tech. And after the first 4 games, they made the switch. And then from that point on, that defense improved so much. And then what's interesting, I think what's more interesting, is the relationship that was forged between McNeil and Lincoln Riley once Mike Leach lost that job, and in particular in the fashion in which he lost it.
Ruffin McNeil. And here's a run for Thompson. Thompson down the sideline, and he'll just step out of bounds deep in Oklahoma territory.
And he's doing a very similar thing here because The first 6 games, they were giving up just north of 420 yards, and their third down percentage was not very good. It was decent, but not very good. And then the last 2 games, they've given up 225 yards total, 132 through the air, and gotten off the field at a clip of, upwards of 65%. So solid turnaround, at least in the last 2. And the first 2 for Ruffin McNeil.
First and goal at the 9. And the handoff. Silman, touchdown, Kansas State. (51-13) with 9:54 to go in the 4th.
Yep. Some positive things to build on for Kansas State as they head into the back half of their season, and some experience for some younger players on that defensive line, in particular for OU.
Wildcats will take on TCU in their next game, followed by Kansas, Texas Tech, and Iowa State. Blake Lynch in to attempt the extra point. And it's good. Under 10 minutes to play, 51-14. Back to Norman after this. (51-14) Oklahoma.
Let's take a look at the road ahead, sponsored by Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer, and the road ahead for all the Big 12 contenders. Texas, of course, has West Virginia next week. We'll see what they do this week against Oklahoma State in Stillwater. OU is going to go to Lubbock, and Texas Tech. West Virginia heads to Austin. This is going to be very interesting down the stretch. West Virginia clearly, I think, has the toughest route because they've got to face Texas and Oklahoma. But I got to tell you, that Texas Tech team, they're the ones that I think can throw a wrench in this whole thing. They actually lost today at Ames in a tight ball game, 1-possession ball game. But they are an explosive bunch in Lubbock. And I tell you, this Oklahoma team's going to have to play well next week to earn a win.
Kansas State kicks it out of bounds.
A free kick out of bounds by number 22 of the kicking team. By rule, the ball is placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
All right, let's go to Los Angeles for a game break.
Gus, thanks. Back in Jacksonville in that top 10 battle between Georgia and Florida after the Gators took their first lead of the game. Bulldogs answered on the next series. Jake Fromm to Jeremiah Holloman. 12-yard score, their second connection of the day. Bulldogs on top 23-17, 4th quarter. Gus, Joel, back to you.
Now what's going on, Joel, with all these players decommitting from Georgia? What are you hearing?
Listen, I don't know if it's necessarily an epidemic as much as it's decision time is creeping up. Oh, good move there.
And a very good run.
But that's
for the play.
I think you're going to see more of this in the future because remember the signing day, I believe it's December, I want to say 13th or 19th, one of those right in there, but it's right in that middle of December. And so now these high school kids, they're being, pressed by the recruiting coordinators and these coaches to kind of submit that commitment, and they're having to. So if they are going to decommit or take another official visit or do anything where they're going to look around, then they're going to tell people that. And Gus, I just think it becomes more of a story now.
There's a fumble, but covered up by OU. Number 1 running back recruit Emery just decommitted from Georgia. And looks like he may be heading to LSU.
Yeah, and an interesting deal with Oklahoma's recruiting as well is that Spencer Rattler, who's really the number 1 quarterback in the country for next year in this recruiting class out of the Phoenix area, he's not going to play the rest of the season for some odd reason, disciplinary reason where his league is not allowing him to play. So he and his father have been in contact with Lincoln Riley, and we'll see how that plays out.
Marcellus Sutton. But getting back to Lincoln Riley and his relationship with Ruffin McNeil, he met Ruffin when he was a wee lad, about 19, 20 years old.
He was just basically a volunteer assistant at Texas Tech. He was dating his now wife, and they were teenagers, essentially, 19 years old. And Caitlin and he were walking in front of the building, and Ruffin was like, "Hey, what are you doing with him?"
No, to be exact, he said, "What's a pretty girl like you doing with an ugly guy like him?"
That's right.
3rd down and 4th to 43.
But their friendship has really blossomed over the years.
Here's the toss, and incomplete. OU will punt it away.
I think the important part of this is that when Ruffin McNeil became the interim head coach at Texas Tech, he entrusted the offense to Lincoln Riley. And then Lincoln proved himself. And you got to remember, that was a tumultuous time with the way that Mike Leach lost that job. There was a lot of a lot of talk and speculation and eyeballs. They were under the microscope and they were under the fire, if you will. And that's when you learn to trust somebody. And then all of a sudden, Ruffin goes and gets the head coaching job at East Carolina. He took Lincoln Riley to East Carolina, gave him his first real job as an offensive coordinator. And then when Lincoln got here to Oklahoma, the first move he made as head coach was reach out to his old friend and said, I need you here.
And it's interesting because we asked Lincoln, what's the relationship like? Is Ruffin your father figure, a mentor? He said a little bit of both. I needed somebody here at Oklahoma that I could trust. 51-14. Let's recap it for you. Kyler Murray was spectacular.
That's right, and these were the things we told you in the open. What do we know about Kyler Murray and that explosive passing game? What is the surprise here in the back half of the season? Kennedy Brooks, 5 rushes, 94 yards, and that huge touchdown run. And then the question mark, the Oklahoma defense, and they have answered it today. That question has been put to rest, at least for today, by that OU defense.
Silman running it, gets outside, stiff arm, and goes out of bounds at the 30-yard line. Oklahoma has a season high, 656 yards. There's Buki, had a big hit today.
Talking with Kenneth Murray, one of the best tacklers in the country. In fact, he was leading the Big 12. He and Curtis Bolton, in large part due to that Army game. But that defense, I got to tell you, again, Kansas State has put up about 80 yards since the starters came out. So now they're up to 235 yards on the day. But those starters played pretty well.
Silman and our Jenny Taft has more on the players' relationship with their new defensive coordinator.
Well, it meant a lot to hear from Curtis Bolton when he told me, we are happy Coach Ruff is our guy. He said, we trust the guy, and the nickname he used for him, Gus, I know you're a nickname guy. He said, we call him Sheepdog because he's going to protect the herd. And the best part about it, Curtis told me, is he isn't a new coach now that he's the DC. He has been the same, and we believe in him. He trusts us. It's been an easy, smooth transition.
All right, Jenny, thank you very much. This one thrown out of bounds. Ruffin McNeil's father, Ruffin McNeil Sr., was a football coach, and he was always known as Ruffin. Ruffin McNeil Jr.'s nickname, the defensive coordinator now of Oklahoma, his nickname is Tuffy. So if you see him in the street, say, hey, Tuffy, how you doing?
He'd probably answer that faster than he would Ruffin, actually. But these kids have played hard the last couple of weeks.
They're down at 6 at 34. Thompson looking, and incomplete. Kansas State will punt it away. That defense continuing to be strong, but there is a flag.
Caleb Kelly was running down.
That's one thing Coach McNeil talked about with us yesterday. He said, I want to make sure my guys understand that we don't need needless penalties. I don't know if this is against OU.
Yeah, definitely is going to be. Caleb Kelly was the one chasing Thompson down. I think that they felt like after the play, he just gave him too much of a shove, too close to the sideline after he let go of the ball.
Personal foul, roughing the passer on number 19 of the defense. A 15-yard penalty and a first down.
So here's Caleb Kelly, 19, coming in. See, he throws it away, and then right there he gives the extra shove.
He didn't have to do that.
Didn't have to do that. It's not that initial contact. Right there, he just got a layoff, but then he gives the extra shove, and the flag came out. Correct call there. And there's not a lot of space on these sidelines in Norman, so trust me when I tell you, man, that bench comes real quick. And the aluminum is not forgiving.
Spoken like a man that's been thrown into that aluminum once or twice during his career at Colorado.
Once, twice, 15 times.
First and 10 at the 49. Silman. And Silman taken down again. This time it's Jalen Redmond. That defensive line has done a nice job against Kansas State today.
And this is an important player for them, Jalen Redmond. I know he's playing right now in some mop-up duty, but he got his first action last week against TCU. And he was an early enrollee and a 5-star recruit, rated as the number 16 recruit in the entire country. He had some health issues early this season, but now he's back. They feel like he's healthy, and they need to get him up to speed because they feel like he can be a difference maker for their starting unit here in the back half of the season. So a guy that these Oklahoma faithful are hoping can make a huge difference.
Second down and 11 at the 48. Ball deflected and incomplete. Isaiah Thomas.
There's basically 3 true freshmen that they're hoping can make a huge difference here in the back half of the season. Ronnie Perkins, number 7, who's now a starter. Brendan Radley-Hiles, who's been a starter from the beginning of the season, and now 31, Jalen Redmond. That was Ronnie Perkins, number 7, and Redmond, number 31. You know, and these young guys are very talented, and they're providing a lot of good depth. But I think the key to their defense becoming a defense that can win potentially a conference championship or even a national championship rests with these young guys and their development in the second half.
They'll throw it again. Near side, and that ball caught by Malik Knowles. Knowles dropped by Kelly. 51-14. We'll step away. 5:42. Excuse me. We'll stay right here with 5:39 to go in the fourth quarter. As the Oklahoma defense will get off the field once again. So some great building blocks right now on all sides of the ball for this OU team.
Specials have been great for them. The return game has even been great. You know, and I think something that goes maybe a little overlooked is the fact that Shane Beamer, Frank Beamer's son, is here now.
Ball fair caught. You think the players like Ruffin McNeil? Well, check out last week. Fox College Football presented by Volkswagen is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. 51-14, OU on their way to their 7th win of the season. Leading Kansas State right now, and we talked to Lincoln Riley in his office yesterday, and we asked him what the reaction was by his players when they lost the Texas game.
Disappointment, obviously.
Devastation.
Devastation because of the way that they lost. They felt like they were going to erase that 21-point deficit and win the ball game.
Here's Pledger. First down. Let's quickly check in with Greg Wolf.
Gus, thanks. Coming up next on Fox, no rest for the weary. Max Muncy was the hero in that 18-inning marathon win for the Dodgers. LA will try and even the World Series in Game 4 from Dodger Stadium. Pre-game coverage of Game 4 of the World Series begins at 7:30 Eastern right here on Fox.
And one of my favorite plays in that game was the throw from the right fielder to nail the runner coming home.
Well, center. No, that was Bellinger.
Center fielder?
Yeah, that was Bellinger. He was playing center. That was an unreal throw.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
First down and 10 at the 28. Here's a handoff. Pledger.
He threw out Kinsler, if I'm not mistaken. Ian Kinsler.
By a mile.
He did. And here's the thing. Kinsler could have been called out on the pickoff on first. He came in as a pinch runner. Then he gets thrown out at home. Then he made the really critical error that allowed the Dodgers to tie the ball game after the Red Sox had taken the lead in the 13th. Rough night for Kinsler.
Joe Buck. John Smoltz, my homeboy, have had an excellent, excellent baseball season. Man, it's been really great listening to the guys. A few baseball stars with a history in college football. Kyler may go. Well, how about Jackie Robinson, the only Bruin ever to letter in 4 sports? Track was the other. Kurt Gibson, wide receiver at Michigan State. Frank Thomas, a tight end at Auburn. And Todd Helton started 3 games at quarterback for Tennessee with a very notable backup. Peyton Manning.
You know what they got in baseball?
What?
Guaranteed contracts. Just saying.
That is true. But I can't imagine Kyler Murray riding on
I get
buses in the minor leagues next year.
And you know what? The NFL is changing a little bit. One, the guaranteed money at that position is real. It's real. You know, and it in some instances is even better than, you know, the average or the just above average Major League Baseball contract.
You know what's the difference between $35 million and $30 million?
$5 million.
No, nothing. 51-14. And welcome back. Oklahoma, 3:05 to go in the fourth quarter. Austin Kendall in a quarterback for Kyler Murray. Hands it off to Pledger. And Pledger still on his feet, picks up the first down.
Great run. Great run. Boy, you can see the talent with this kid, can't you? Pledger.
Yes.
What a special young player. They got a lot of these young players, man. I got to tell you, we talked also with Lincoln Riley. And OU fans aren't going to want to hear this. But with the way the NFL is going and evolving offensively towards the college game, they're coming, okay? And
they're coming for Lincoln.
That's
the
right.
NFL
100%. 100%. And he knows it. Everyone knows it down here.
And you asked him yesterday.
I asked him point blank, do you have that itch? You know, and he said, and I believed him, and he said what he should. He said, no, I really don't. I'm in a good spot. And he said, and this was the important part, I know we can be great here for a long time. And that's the truth. That's the absolute truth. And you can see it with some of these young guys. And I can tell you, he, along with Kyler Murray, his quarterback, they feel this year, and I think it was the impetus to the change that he made in the midseason, the defensive coordinator. He feels like there's unfinished business as far as the championship is concerned from last year. He knows that there were a couple of play calls he wants back from that Georgia game in the Rose Bowl. He knows that they were the better matchup against Alabama, and he's desperate to get back into that position.
2nd and 6 to 46. And Pledger again. And if you listen to the rumor mill, if Jason Garrett does not survive with the Dallas Cowboys, many feel that Jerry Jones will come after Ruffin McNeil.
Lincoln Riley.
I mean, excuse me, Lincoln Riley.
Who knows? Ruffin might follow him down there. They take each other everywhere, so it might be the same. But I wouldn't be shocked if Denver came after him. OU's got 704 yards of offense.
Pledger with a career high 103 yards rushing.
Part of a 300-yard day rushing for OU. Wow. Wow, man.
But more importantly, the defense played well.
They did.
And down the stretch, they're going to need a better effort. You know, OU can score points on anyone. Ask Georgia, but can they defend? You can't score 45 and lose.
Like they have the last 2 times they've lost. Georgia and Texas.
And how crazy would it be, and no disrespect against West Virginia, if Texas and Oklahoma were to meet for a 2nd time this season? I don't think that's ever happened. Texas and OU playing twice in 1 year. But it could be headed in that direction. We'll see what Texas does tonight against Oklahoma State in Stillwater.
Well, partner, last week we saw a team that had 1 loss, and I said that it's real, it's legitimate. They've got a legitimate shot at the playoff. And we see another team this week with 1 loss that it is absolutely real. Oklahoma has a legit a shot of the playoff as anybody in the country.
That team last week was Michigan. The final score here in Norman, Oklahoma. The Sooners with 51 points, Kansas State with 14. The offense explosive as usual. The defense getting a little better. Here's Jenny Taft.
Gus, speaking of that explosive offense. Today, Coach, a season high in total yards for you on offense. Kyler Murray is responsible for a lot of that. You highlighted his competitiveness to us yesterday. How has he continued to make this offense better?
He's playing within himself. You know, he's understanding the different challenges that all these different teams have brought, and he's continuing to improve, not listening to the outside, continue to work and improve, and kind of just relying on the expectations we have within our walls, and that's what he needs to keep doing.
Some changes defensively with this team, and you said you wanted to see progress. Where did you see progress today?
Yeah, we played a complete game. You know, we really stopped the run well. Other than a couple third and longs, the first half really played well. The energy, the emotion, we're tackling better. We're just playing better team defense.
Some teams have that special it factor. You had it last year. What is that it factor for this team this year?
Well, you continue to find that as you go along. You know, you continue to battle back throughout the season. It's a long season, but we've always played our best ball here at the end of the year. Now it's time for championship November. We can't wait.
All right. Thank you, Lincoln.
All right. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much, Jenny, as we take a look at the Big 12 standings. It's going to be an interesting race to the finish in the most electric offensively conference in America.
Texas is in the driver's seat. They have handled their business thus far. They're going to have a challenge on the road in Stillwater later today as they face Oklahoma State. But I tell you what, man, I would not want to see this Oklahoma Sooner team. I would not want to see them. They are too good offensively. West Virginia with a dominant win over Baylor. They're headed to Austin next week. Texas Tech took the L today. I got to tell you, boys, this one's going to be good coming down the stretch. Awfully, awfully good.
51-14, our final score here. Kyler Murray, 19 of 24, 351 yards passing. He threw 3 touchdowns. He also rushed for a touchdown. He has firmly cemented himself in the Heisman Trophy race. 702 total yards for the OU offense. CeeDee Lamb, 4 catches, 162 touchdowns. Ledger, 14 carries, 103 yards rushing. OU rushed for 323 yards. 51-14, Ruffin McNeil's second game. The defense starting to look good.